Hi, I'm Gabriel Hernandez, and this is Watcher DM. Today, we're going to be going over the adventure guide for Pig-Faced Killers, a 5e compatible adventure for 4 to 6 characters of level 5. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you, if you would, to like this video and subscribe if you'd like to be notified of future videos. Hit the bell icon. Also, if you'd like to support our other works, you can find our published materials on DriveThruRPG, itch.io, at watcherdm.com, or you can come and join our Patreon at patreon.com/watcherdm. Look forward to seeing you there. All right, let's get into this. The Pig-Faced Killers is about a place where the local guard, the guards of the town, have become corrupted. A curse has been bestowed on them for being so grievous and so unjust that anybody who joins their ranks will eventually turn into a pig, an actual were-boar creature. They call themselves officers of the peace, but to everyone else, they're just the pigs. Now, this has a very clear parallel in the real world, where, fighting with corruption and dealing with corruption in the real world has its analogs. If you enjoy that in your fiction, please do so. If you don't, or you're offended by this material, feel free to walk on by it. You won't hurt our feelings. This is a fantasy game, and being able to tackle this topic and enjoy the fantasy of, giving it back to these guys or whatever is part of the game. So that's the setup for this. The PCs in the initial scene will interact with Officer Barbarous and some young patrolmen. So there's 4 young patrolmen who have not yet fully turned into boars, or turned into pigs. He also has his 2-headed death dog, and he is harassing 2 women, Rachel and Fatima. One of the things about this adventure is you'll find Officer Barbarous's stat block includes a section about roleplay, as does Captain Siscrofa, Lieutenant Domesticus, and Nadine. These are all characters that have kind of, phrasing and looks and acts and, different things about them. So these should be studied before play to ensure that you know how you're going to play out the different characters. But Officer Barbarous is basically a jerk. He's just harassing these people because they're members of an organization that defends citizens against pigs. So they are the resistance to the cops movement, basically. So the PCs can basically get them. Like, it should be a fairly easy combat for them to dispatch them. And hopefully not kill them, because killing them is, bad. But if he does die, then it's a murder. So Scrofa shows up when this goes down. He's basically going to try to use evidence of Barbarous's murder against the PCs to simultaneously shut down Officer Barbaros and pin that on the PCs. Basically pin it on somebody else. So he gets to clean up somebody who was trying to, expose his corruption. Officer Barbaros, Siscrofa against each other, and the PCs are kind of caught in the middle. So going after this scene, you'll go into scene 2, which includes him rounding up the PCs after having killed Barbaros, and attempts to recover the evidence and whoever he can. So this combat, as opposed to the previous one, should be deadly. And the expectation here is that a party member will die, or at least go down and be captured. You don't have to play it that way. You can introduce an NPC if you would like, if you're averse to capturing your PCs or putting them on, within range of death. But anybody who is killed in this fight will be resurrected using Raise Dead in jail the next day. If you use an NPC, you'll really want to make sure that the PCs have a reasonable desire to collect this person and rescue them, because that is an important part of this adventure. But yeah, basically it's a wereboar, a hellhound, a mage, and 6 orcs, which is no joke. And so again, you've got these stat blocks down here for orcs, hellhound, your wereboar, and your mage included in the adventure. Effectively, the players can kind of catch on if if they figure out what's going on, but otherwise their objective is to at least get one of the PCs into a position where they can't fight back. They will retreat to a safe place out of sight and into a teleportation circle that Dom set up earlier. The Hellhound and the pigs will fight as long as it's reasonable, and once they've safely retreated, the Hellhound will back off. So, the PCs are intentionally going to lose somebody here. If that is an NPC, again, make sure that Fatima and Rachel encourage the PCs to go and capture them and retake them. So the next scene is effectively setting up that plan. So ACAP headquarters, Nadine will, should justifiably wary of outsiders, but otherwise this is them planning to incite a riot to help the PCs get their friend out of jail. And then the station house jail scene is just an opportunity to really dig into the PCs, a hatred of Soscrofa. You want to really put his cunning and his evil on display so that they really, really hate this guy. But I would not spend very much time in this scene. Just, get through it, make sure it's, punchy and dramatic, have him just move on to meet with Commissioner Peccary. In scene 4, it is this is the scene where you strike back. It starts with a full-scale riot at the station house. The party can basically break in before Soscrofa and Domesticus have gotten back. And so they're able to break their friends out of jail and break into the confiscated items locker, where they will find silvered weapons, magic items, a number of things that will be useful for the fight. Once they've rescued their captured ally, Soscrofa returns, and the actual fight proper can go down with the defeat of Soscrofa and Domesticus and the Hellhounds. And yeah, that's basically, the end of that fight is a, reward. The party celebrates at ACAP headquarters, and the party basically bestows a Hero's Feast's benefit on all the PCs. And you should, if you end the session at that point, have that Hero's Feast affect them at the beginning of the following session. And yeah, as important as this victory was, and it is important, one torched station house and a dead captain won't save the city. Commissioner Peccary will rally the pigs and prepare to strike back hard. Lieutenant Domesticus may have escaped and attached himself to someone even more powerful than Soscrofa. The pigs are squealing for blood. The locals have a month to prepare. So at this point, this would be a really fun way to dive into a police corruption, steal back the city, bring back justice kind of campaign. Could work really, really well with like paladin of, a just god, coming to return justice to a broken city. You could just do a lot of really fun stuff with this, especially that given that the rules for what passes for justice in town and their effect of the curse is so spelled out. It's easy to tell when somebody is a pig, as opposed to if all the pigs were just humans. If it was just cops are humans, like if they're not in their uniform, you don't know if it's a cop or not. It's irrelevant. So yeah, again, amazing art from Paul Brown. I also did some of the art here. I did this little demon dog you find down here and the Nadine portrait back in the day. This is version 1.1 of this document, so you may have an older version, but I encourage you to pick up the new one. That's basically it. That's this adventure in a nutshell. Had a lot of fun running this one, and I hope you do too. If you'd like to tell us what you think, go ahead and sound off in the comments below. And otherwise, we will see you on the next one. Stay weird.